it may be
this is the SOD rules. Based on that, ARA will develop. But why ARA is a common platform? Because everywhere it will touch all the components.
Okay, that point I got. Yes, yes. Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
Dinesh.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just waiting for Shrikant. In any GRC project, this is the best implementation approach method which is suggested by SAP. In this, the complete approach, it will segregate it into 3 stages.
Krish, can you hear?
Yes, sir. What happened? Hello. So, in any project, the implementation approach would be 3 stages especially for GRC. In this stage, for any existing project or the greenfield implementation, the new project, the security team will build the roles in the backend system. Here, backend system is ECC system, front-end system is the GRC system. So, once the security team has developed the roles, then we will go with the get clean phase. Once we completed the connector configuration with the GRC, then we'll start working on the risk analysis. In this phase, the outcome is how many SOD risk-free roles, how many SOD roles. The risk analysis will perform on different levels, like single role level is 1 stage, derived role is 1 stage, composite role is 1 stage, and business role. But we'll make sure that all the single and derived roles should SOD free, inherent risk. It doesn't have an inherent risk. That is a primary objective. We'll try to do as much as single role cleanup. But when it comes to composite role level, anyway we will create like a security. We'll take the example for security. User administration and role information cannot be assigned to 1 person. But due to staffing services and some other concerns, we need to assign the roles. But we will create separate roles, user administration roles without SOD, and role administration role without SOD. We will create inherent single roles, SOD free, inherent risk free single roles. But when it comes to composite role or business role, we will combine and we will assign to the user. Once we will perform the risk analysis at composite role level and business role level, based on the risks, we will take a decision, either go for a mitigation or remediation. That we will do it in the second stage, stay clean. In this, total 50 risk roles. Then we'll start working on the remediation part. Is one security consultant, and we'll develop new rules on the other security consultant. And we'll collect some of the critical transaction code from the business, and we won't assign through normal job responsibility roles. We will create separate firefighter concept. And we will develop the strategy for firefighter. Suppose a sales company, so sales invoice, sales process, sales orders, vendors, based on the business necessity, we can have a discussion with the business and we will identify the critical transaction. If business says this is my criticality, this is the area of criticality, then we will accommodate those access in terms of emergency access management. Not only this respective to the modules, but even the IT, the client administration, table data administration, kind of some of the IT transaction code also we will include into the emergency access management. The purpose of the emergency access management is whatever the critical activity we will perform in the system, that should be reviewed and approved immediately. And we will perform the risk analysis at the user level and we will prepare the user level matrix with mitigation control concept. In case of the remediation is completed, but still there are some risks needs to be assigned. So we cannot provision a risk role to users. In some particular stage, that role owner or compliance manager or department, whatever we will define on the workflow, some point we will assign the proper mitigation control, then only the request will complete. So that process also we will define in the statement. And a business role management means nothing but SOD roles. In the statement, till this process we will perform before go-live. Once the user administration and role administration and emergency access management, all the processes are well defined and it should be in the control, then once after go-live, we will use the PVR review and SOD review in the staying control phase. In this phase, the majority of the companies, they will go for PVR review based on the users count they will perform. If suppose user count is 50,000 or 60,000, they cannot do every 3 months, every quarter. They will go for either 6 months or 1 year. Because out of 60,000, if we can take a reviewer is a manager, almost 1,000 managers. So 1,000 managers, they need to spend at least every 3 months, they need to spend 2 to 3 weeks time to review the user access and take a decision. And nothing can happen within the 3 months, at least 6 months time frame. If the user count is very less, 8,000 or 10,000, then they will go for quarter review. That depends on the internal auditor and external auditor and the company's strategy. So once the users are reviewed and remove the actions, then the system is in control after go live with the help of periodic audit reviews. So this is the basic strategy in any of the GRC project. And the modules, whatever the components we will implement based on the components and based on the levels of a workflow or requirements, this may change, slight adjustment will be there, but the process would be same. Like if it is a big project, multiple landscapes needs to migrate into one landscape, then there is a phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, kind of each phase. But in each phase also, the strategy would be ARV and most of the risk IDs will complete, then firefighter IDs, then PVR. Like that, they will split, and they can divide it into phases, maybe phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 kind of projects. So, any questions?
Hey, I just have one question, Girish. So, when you run the risk analysis, right? So, do we run the risk analysis based on connector or global? You run for every connector?
That depends upon who we have selected. It is a single role, technical role, you can say. Technical role, we need to select the system.
System, okay. So we'll be running
the business role. It is. We don't select any system. We'll just select the business role. If the business role count is more than 10,000 or more than 1,000, then we will split into IT roles separate, COE roles separate, business roles separate.
Okay.
So that depends on the count and the number of systems and type of role.
And when you let's say field implementation, right? So what's the whole design any of these phases?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
So in case of greenfield implementation,
okay.
Do you consider a role design piece in any of the steps?
Yeah, definitely. Remediation concept definitely would an immediate effect. We would definitely consider, even though it is a greenfield implementation. Why? Because, see, when it comes to this stage, user versus role matrix, we will perform the complete operations through GRC. Okay. So definitely, we will go for either a remediation or mitigation. But the problem is we cannot mitigate all the risks. If it is by standard, SAP will provide 220 risks: high, medium, and low, critical. We cannot mitigate. Okay, anyway, SAP has given risk IDs. So all the risks they have identified, and we will remediate all the risks. Sorry, we will go for all the mitigation concept. 220 mitigation. We cannot do that. So definitely, we will reduce as much as the risk comes. Why? Remediation only. Meaning, we will try to remove the risks in the single role level.
So this is
maximum for company. Generally, maximum I have implemented almost 15 implementation projects, but not more than for company. I'm saying they will create 20-25 for complete, but the flavor they will use for each company. That is around 200. If it is 20 companies, 200 change. If it is 10 companies, kind of 30 means 300, kind of 20 means 600, like that. Maximum 30 mitigation control.
So we can use one mitigation control for multiple things, right? In the same mitigation we can put, or okay, that is good.
Yes. So there is one thing. Even you created for one company, there is no restriction to select the mitigation control. You can utilize the same mitigation control for all the companies. But generally, what will happen in the companies, each company there is some dedicated compliance managers would be there. So for that purpose only, we will create the naming convention. We will change the naming convention. We will create the new mitigation control for the new company. But the risk description, only organization change and owners change. But risk, the mitigation control and the objective mitigation control, description of the mitigation control, everything will be the same. Only the organization and approvers will be different. And in this particular stage, actually that is too expensive, but I'll bring to everyone notice. There is a different strategies companies will follow. In the risk level, critical, high, medium, low. Some of the companies, they don't want to waste time. They will remove the medium and low in the rule set. Medium, low level risks in the rule set. They will consider only high and critical. Critical anyway, they will go for remediation. High, whatever the high risk, they will go for mitigation. That is one strategy. And SAP has provided one BRF plus rule. With help of that BRF plus rule, even though your rule set exists all the type of risk levels, high, critical, high, medium, low, but we will apply that BRF plus rule. We can avoid low and medium risks. We can skip that particular screen. It will automatically skip the low and medium risks, and it will just only populate to critical and high risks in the request. Different strategies will
right? Sorry, someone is talking. Sorry.
No, Grish, you said for critical, companies usually go for remediation. I know that. So what do you do for high? High also will go for remediation.
High also will go for remediation. Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm not denying that, but I'm just giving example. So the strategy is, if it is high level risk, there are so many high level risks. Then again, they need to discuss with you. See, the risk rule set, risks, remediation, mitigation is a continuous compliance process. So it has to go through several levels of discussion and will finalize the particular rule set. Then we'll take a decision. Based on the decision, they will go for a separate remediation or mitigation concept.
Yeah, so during the provisioning process, I can use some rule set, right? I can avoid, low and medium. I just put critical and high, right? We can do that, right?
Yes. And also there is a different strategy. Like there is a predetermined mitigation controls. Okay. Once we will perform a risk analysis for complete role levels. Okay. Today we have created a 20. Today the 200 roles we perform the complete risk analysis. Once the risk analysis is completed, for low level risk, there is a 10 roles. It will trigger 10 roles. So what we will do, we will assign some temporary predetermined mitigation control for that role level. So it won't show risks in the request because it was already mitigated.
Got it. Okay.
And user and role level list.
Actually, Grish, when we are assigning role to the user, there might be the combination of high, low, or critical.
Yeah, definitely.
But
for low level risk, it will automatically replicate to mitigation, that particular screen.
Okay, but if any single roles like with high risk and medium risk, for example, and the combination of these two roles is causing something critical or very highly kind of thing.
It is not like that. It is not like that. See, if it is a risk, if it is trigger low, the combination cannot do that. The combination is always, it will trigger based on the rule set. If it is a conflict between the two transactions, it will give you the medium level risk. Example, if the combination of one of the transaction code in the above combination and it will conflict with the other transaction code by SAP standard rule set itself, it is low, then it will trigger to low. It cannot say it is a high and it is low, and it cannot take the average. Based on the SOD rule set, the conflict between the two transactions, it will display the risk results.
No, but at authorization level, like have one or two activities for some critical authorization object, okay, in even like normal role, okay. So that might cause the issue, right?
It will. See, even though whatever the predetermined mitigation control the role, it will by default display with the mitigation control. You understand my point? The final results, it is having critical risk. It is also having low level risk, that particular role. But low level risk, parallelly, it will display with the predetermined mitigation control name. So it is not a showstopper. Only we will assign the mitigation control for critical risks in the result.
Okay. Maybe when we are checking few examples during that time, we will check. Yeah.
I will show the particular screen.
Yeah, so I think the same lines, the same question. I think kind of say let us say right, you have two roles assigned, three roles assigned to the user in the provisioning process. So how does the system doesn't determine that which one goes to where the mitigation? So if it is a combination of some risks. No.
Actually, that mitigation strategy, we will identify the SOD owner. Okay, that may be based on the company strategy, whether a company or a business process. We need to define before on the workflow design. Based on that, it will trigger to approvers. If we are not providing the sufficient condition or approvers on that particular condition, it can simply escape the route and it will go to the some person, or it will end up with the error. That is we will perform on the configuration only.
Right.
Yeah, if we have not defined the owner, it cannot it cannot determine the owner, but we will, based on some certain conditions, the risks, SOD risks, then you need to go with this particular approval. We will inform, like we will design the workflow.
Great. Just one more question. Actually, is there any way to find out? I mean, when we will need, suppose I have a requirement to find out the role with the SOD completes. Okay, so normally all custom roles start with either G or Y, most of organizations. So is there any way in a one go we can schedule some job and find out that?
We will see. This phase, we will perform the risk analysis in the complete system level or the complete role levels. The complete total. We will select a role name starts with Jet Star.
But it will check for it will check for independent role, right? I mean, if we selected like G star and run the SOD complex.
Each role it will run. It will give you the separate results.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we will perform at complete role level.
Role level, right? So just my question, like if I put like G star and run the SOD complex at role level, then it will be the combination of different role, or it will produce output for single role.
Yes, it will share the results. Each role.
For each role.
What
okay.
is it? Yes. Sir.
Okay.
So any more questions? The strategies, just now we discussed on high level, right? That we will discuss on the first, once we schedule first risk analysis and it will complete the risk analysis at the role level. Then we'll discuss like strategy 1, strategy 2, various options, what options, strategy 3, strategy 4, kind of strategies we will discuss in that particular maybe ARA session or before mitigation session. Some of the examples I will give, what options are available. Some of them we can directly do it in the system. Some of them It's a lengthy process, but I can suggest this is also available. We can try that option. Any other questions? Okay. Okay. Now, we want to work next. If any system, new system, implementation system, on the customer place, and as given, and this needs to the system needs to be configured GRC. So how we will determine the GRC? We have gone through the architecture, but once the system is available, then okay, are you able to see the SAP screen?
Yes, Girish. Yeah, we can see.
Okay, we can go to
Yes,
the system
yes.
status and product version. And this, so the NetWeaver component is 7.52 version, 752. It should be 752 on the top of it. GRC FND underscore A. This is a foundation product. Right now, it is 12, support pack 12. But in the market, support pack 18 still exists. Support pack 18 it is running now, but the support pack level is 12. This system. So we can identify the GRC component is GRC FND underscore A. It should with V12 version. Then GRC 12. If it is V10, then it is GRC 10. If V11, V11, it is 10.1. V12 is GRC 4. This should exist. The component should exist. Without maybe the support pack level, but this component should exist to configure the GRC system. That is the first step we need to set in the system.
But field configuration are like 8100 as well, right? I mean, GRC FND underscore A. I mean, what is the difference in between these two components?
Which one? This one?
GRC FND underscore A with version 8100. I mean, it not here, but yeah,
okay.
In market.
That might be actually, that version is within S4HANA build. That is just a component. 8110, right?
Yeah, it is
yeah, V8100. Direct installation, actually. Direct installation. It should exist with this GRC FND underscore A component.
okay, this is the component release, right? I mean, it is GRC FND underscore V12.
Yeah.
I mean, this is for 12, right? Okay.
Yes, yes. And in this component, you will get it access control, process control, and risk management. All the three versions. Like all the three components you will get with GRC FND underscore A component.
Okay, okay.
And you can also find there is GRC PI NW. This is a plugin, NetWeaver plugin, support pack level 12. This is a NetWeaver plugin component. So this plugin component is required to integrate within the system as well as some of the SAP systems, like ECC. You need to integrate GRC system to ECC system. This plug should be installed. GRC PI NW. If it is a HR system, ECC, on the top of it, there is a HR position-based roles, HR fully implemented system. then GRC PI ERP should be installed.
That is on backend system, right? ECC
Yeah,
system,
backend
GRC, PI.
Yeah, backend system.
Okay.
Yes. Any ECC, any MDG, any APO, any ABAP system, this plugin should be installed. If it is a HANA, the plugin is separate. If it is a portal content. If it is a BW system, BW is different actually. BW should BW content, the component name.
Is there any matrix for this series? Any matrix?
Yeah, I will share that.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, in this system, already GRC component are activated. So we are able to see that in status, right? But there may be a case like where GRC component is not even activated in the system. So how you can identify which version should be suitable for this SAP release?
No. See, not activated. This should be installed to configure the GRC. This is a primary validation we are doing in the system. We need to perform some activities. This should be installed. If this component was not installed, only this component was installed, 752.
Exactly, only 752 is there. Then what version of GRC to be activated? That how is there a way to identify, or is there a system or grid?
There is an installation.
For 752, we have a version 12.
Okay. In the installation guide, if you download the installation guide in the service marketplace, that will give you this information, GRC or GRC any upgrade or GRC configuration guide, like GRC 10 to 10.1 upgrade guide or any of the guides you can download. Then they will give you this matrix, installation components and the description.
Okay, fine.
I just brought the screenshot from there. Probably I will share today. Yeah. So if it is a HANA system, this component should be installed in the HANA database. HCO_GRC_PA. This plugin should be installed.
So for S4 HANA system, for example, for application level like ECC, right, front end, I mean, we need that. Okay, go to
GRC PI and W.
Okay, and okay. In addition to that, for HANA database also we need separate component.
No. For HANA database, if you want to provision through GRC, then this component, yeah.
Okay.
You need to, like the application layer is S4 HANA. So in the S4 HANA ABAP version, GRC PA and W. Even though the database you need to integrate with the GRC and performing user administration and role assignment activities, then you would require HCO GRC PA and W in the HANA database.
Okay.
Then you can provision the GRC.
Girish, it's just a package, right, for HANA? Just a package, right?
It's a plugin. Yeah, it's a plugin.
No, Shrikant, you're right. It's a package that needs to be imported into HANA database, and then there is a bunch of SQL scripts that you need to execute.
Once we install this component, then only we will get the ARA, ARM, SQL scripts will exist. We need to execute all the scripts.
All the procedures, I think, yeah.
Yeah, procedures. And we have to perform in the sequential order on the scripts.
Right.
The procedures. Then only will the ones that is success, then probably we'll start working on that. GRC integration.
I have one question, small question, Girish. Here, the GRC, this package, this plugin, right? So, what is the latest version of the plugin we have in the market? Is it still 10.1 or we have more?
Okay, for this there is no change.
No change. Okay.
Plugin component there is no change. Actually, just plug 10.1 onwards, the version was released and started integration. In this plugin, sir, did you find any version? I don't think so. In this particular component.
I could not find it. That's the reason why I'm asking. So because there are so many issues, right? These procedures. So I'm looking for the better way of better. We are wasting a lot of time, when running the procedure.
No. That is by default. Actually, these procedures. What will happen? Some of the procedures we need to change the length, and we need to re-execute.
Exactly.
Based on the error, we need to go. Sometimes we need to. They will give only 100 or 200 the length. But once we execute the procedure, they will suggest you need to do 500 length for the particular character. So once we adjust the character, then we re-execute the procedure. It will complete. Have some errors with standard errors.
Yeah, actually, a lot of gray areas there. Actually, Girish,
Yes,
it
but
takes a lot of
they
time.
never change.
At least 4 or 5 hours it takes at least.
Yeah, they never changed. Because we did for 3 implementations, almost. One we tried in the local system, second we executed in customer space, but still almost after 2 years we executed. There is around 1 year time, but still the same SQL script errors are, we got that issues.
Yeah, that's weird actually. I don't know why SAP is not coming up with a better package. Yeah.
You know something, there is a 10 to 10.1 upgrade. The first post-installation step, SE75. Anyone we need to insert GRC. That was starting from GRC 10 to 10.1 upgrade. Why? Because we need to, there is no JED. It will override the existing data because we will use the character GRC. But instead of that, maybe SAP suggested for ZGRC, it will go with it, or at least SAP by default, the latest version they can provide, but they have not done. Even GRC 12 upgrade also, the first step you must perform, you have to adjust the GRC length. Then only your GRC request will submit. Otherwise, it will throw the error. That is the first step you have to perform after upgrade. That never changed after even the 2 versions, but they have not changed.
Girish, what is I forgot what is Shahid? This is a 2020 sports package 2 or a 2021?
12.
No, this is for S4 HANA. It is what? GRC load up.
No,
on premise. What is?
I need to log in.
It's 2020. It is 2020. I see. It's 2020. Sports package 2.
Okay. But it was earlier, it was 1909. But
it's 2020. It's 2020. That's okay.
So, Girish, this GRC plugin components need to be installed in the GRC as well as in the connected system, or only in GRC system?
No, both.
Okay. So, same component should be installed in both the system, right?
Yes.
Okay.
See, the plugin is just nothing but the compatibility, to avoid the compatibility issues.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Why? Because you have there is a firefighter identifier role. We'll go in a deeper discussion. There is some firefighter role should exist in the backend system to assign, to determine the firefighter is in the backend system, and also there is while deep provisioning, a decentralized firefighter concept. So you need to, there is a dashboard transaction to get the GRC properties in the ECC system to avoid the compatibility issues. You must install the plugin in the backend system or any other system. Whatever you have planned for integration, there should be some specific plugin should be installed in the backend system.
Okay.
To
If
get
it
the
is a
GRC
non-SAP system, will it apply?
No, for non-SAP, that depends. If it is a non-SAP means if it is IDM, IDM has some specific component, but Oracle Java, no, we'll go with the interface.
Okay, okay.
We'll create some custom program for compatibility, custom program in the particular skill, and we'll integrate.
Okay, got it.
Or we'll try to prepare some template to make sure the data should be updated.
Okay.
So any other questions? We'll start working on the post-installation configurations. But the responsibility, if you consider the responsibilities on security and basis will install the components and plugins, and also some of the post-installation configuration activities performed by basis. This is also not our activity, but when anybody give the system, why we are understanding all these concepts are, we need to go, somebody has given the system and start working on the configuration. At least we can do some validation in the system. And if any errors or any issues, then some of the basic steps we will go through and we can do some troubleshooting. Okay, this might be the issue, this might be the root cause. Because if you do greenfield implementation, scratch implementation, these steps are very key. These steps, and we have to understand on what each activity, what we are doing and why we are doing. And also these activities, most of the things a basis will perform. After installation, they will perform these activities. We will go in the detail. First, GRC. We have validated the system. GRC component is installed, plugin is installed, and hand over the system. So, what is the first step we will do? Activate applications in the client. So, the GRC, there is some custom client would be there. Once the system is ready, there is a specific SID and subsequent client. Now, consider this is 001. So, in this system, we validated all the system installed components. Then, since it is ABAP version, we will go through SPRO, IMG reference, there is a GRC component. Governance, risk and compliance. This is normal GRC configuration and GRC plugin. Once we install GRC KNW, this plugin component installed, and there are some configuration items available under this tree. So right now we are going with GRC general settings.
Please double click general setting.
No, it is not. It's not coming.
It's kind of weird.
Okay.
Let's say refresh, go out and come back. Go out and come back again. I think we need to change.
I have captured the screenshot. Probably I will go to this.
Okay.
Okay, in this particular part, governance, risk and compliance, general settings, activation applications in the client. So, activate applications in the client. Once we execute that step, here, choose the new entries, and once we choose the new entries, it will display the three components: GRC AC, GRC RM, GRC PC. So here we will select either three components or one component or whatever the components we need to install. We will select the particular component and save. This determines we will start working on the access control. Or even though if we select PC and RM, then we are installing the three components. This is the part you can go and check in the system. Suppose if it is already implemented system, what are the components or what are the modules that was installed in the system? So you can identify it with this navigation.
Girish, is it transportable or it's a?
It's a transportable. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
See, the best feature in the GRC system, it will automatically display the transport request. And you can prepare the, right now we are not discuss on the project plan, but in the last, probably last sessions, we will discuss on the project plan. Like several steps, whatever the configuration steps, we will prepare. For each configuration step, we will map the transport request.
It's better to make
one.
It is better to make separate transport for each configuration
Yes.
step. That way, if you goof up, you know you only goofed up that much. Doesn't make sense to add everything into one.
Yeah, you can have a while practicing, or at least when you are working. Each step you can maintain a separate transport request, so that in case of any changes, in case of any additional enhancements or any change in the requirements or any issues, you can come and you can change that particular configuration or revert back the configuration, and you can map to that particular transport request, so that it won't disturb, it won't congest all the components in one transport request.
So in any implementation, we will be having only one configurator, right, for GRC. So he will be doing all the configuration, or you can have multiple.
There is a multiple team.
Okay.
Generally, so that depends upon the landscape. So probably, but some of them are usually do 1 or 2 persons mostly, but they will split the activities one after the other. It cannot, system cannot assign, system cannot allow multiple persons. It will automatically, the second person will get the display access. Someone will configure.
Are getting locked, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so, the screen got locked, but there is a possibility for multiple persons.
Okay.
Girish, is there any licensing cost involved when I activate PC, RMAC, or just AC?
There is no. There is no. But see, the license cost, everything GRC will charge. First is the user, then there is a corporate license. At the company level, they will provide some license so that they will do some installation. That is at high level. So they can do some instances only for this charge, and beyond that instances, there is a separate charge.
So Girish, same level question. Is there any way that we can measure the license for all the systems connectors also over here, or we cannot?
No.
We cannot. Okay.
Okay, this is the first step. And second step would be SIC of services. Make sure that SIC of, there are some, even though it is an above version, there are some web services are required for configuration, GRC configuration. So it's a direct transaction code. SIC of is a transaction code. In this particular transaction code, so the screen looks like hierarchy type is service. Once you execute, then it will display the hierarchy. In the hierarchy, for GRC specific, we will activate only SAP/public, SAP/BC, SAP/GRC. These three components we will activate. So activation means we will just do the right click and activate the service. Once we perform that activity, it will display this pop-up. Do you want to the complete service? Yes, or the next is yes. Yes is hierarchy. Meaning public, SAP public has different, at least 10 childs on the hierarchy. So the first step is you are activating, first S is you are activating on the public only. The second S is the complete hierarchy. So for these three items, these three services for GRC specific, you must activate the complete hierarchy. Meaning the second S you need to select. And the services activation is a very critical activity in terms of organization. Because if we activate any service without knowing the infrastructure or cybersecurity or within the team, so that may cause cybersecurity issues. Because anybody, they will log in through portal with the particular web service. They will give some username and password. They can enter into the internet network. So services is very, very critical, and basis has to do this step. But whenever, if you are trying executing NWBC transaction code, you are trying for particular NWBC link, you will get 403 forbidden error. There is a 403 forbidden error. Probably that is the service, web service was not activated. We can reach out to basis team for asking activate the particular web service. So how to identify the link means we click the link. Suppose this is not working. You will get this UI to NWBC, this path. This particular path, you can identify the complete UI2/NWBC. This is the path, service path address. So you can reach out to basis team. You can inform or you can activate the service. Generally, the errors.
Web service and this SIC services are different, or I mean, they will activate from the same transaction.
No, same transaction.
Okay.
This will get 403. No, this is what. This is not 403. Actually, this is very good. So, if any service would not work, then it will throw 403 forbidden error. If it is a 403 forbidden error, definitely the service was not active. So you can reach out to basis team to activate the service.
So Girish, so you showed us right on the top left. Can you go back to NWC screen one more time?
Yeah.
Just yeah, on the top right, you have that URL kind of thing, right? So how do we know that which service was not activated in the based on the URL what you see here? You said like NWA.
No, actually,
which
this is working. Okay. See, when suppose I will click on this link. This link was not working. That shows blank page and 403 forbidden error. Then that particular screen, it will display the path.
The path, okay.
Yeah.
So the path, right? So you showed us 3 paths, right? SAP/GRC, SAP/other two, right? So which one goes to where? I'm just trying to understand because I can go back and check, right, whether the service is active or not. So.
Okay, you were saying on the 3 services, what might be?
Yeah, exactly. And which category it falls? Is it SAP public, SAP BC?
No, it may be any of them. Any of them. But
okay.
It will display the complete path. While error, you will get the complete path. You can just copy that particular path and take the service into SICF service. You can activate.
So everything is up to UI2, right? Okay. I think we need to figure out them.
Essentially. Okay, this is a screen like this on the SAP. So this is a public. Okay, activate services are deactivated. So meaning this is already activated. So if you want to deactivate, it will display. You want to
so the screens are UI screens, right? Yeah, UI screens, right? So
yes,
there should be somewhere the US. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Essentially, one instead of copying, I will go to one of the screens.
I think last but one. There you go. I think that one. Yeah. Okay. So the path should be BCUI2. Okay.
Even it is not displaying there because of remote test. See, once if it is active, actually I was deactivated, but if it is active or anything, if you want to test the service, you can just click on the service, then it will automatically display the particular screen. So right now, I am activating the service. Then it will display. Yes, and this hierarchy yes. So if we click yes, then all the services getting activated. So like this, we can deactivate and we can reactivate the services.
So if the service is not available, then we need to go back to basis, right? So the service is not there.
Yes. They will do like this. Service is not active or active. They can do. But for development systems, probably we can check whether it is grayed out or the service is active or not. See, some of them you are trying to execute or you want to configure something in WBC, but that particular service is not available. So you can, on the troubleshooting tips, you can come to SICF screen and you can check whether that particular service is not active or not.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Yeah. I'm good. Thank you.
So you can also refer this particular note. Will give you the details, especially to like the GRC system. So any questions on this? I'll do it for one more concept, then we'll stop to this. Are we good with script, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. There is a transaction called SCPR20, that is a business configuration sets, BC sets. So in the SAP configuration, why we will create a BC set means we need a reference. Since it is GRC now, so many has learned and so many are understanding the concept of GRC. But since it is the initial days, so everybody doesn't know except SAP. And SAP has created this module for audit purpose. And for any module or anything, we need some reference. Based on the reference only, we will take the flavor, then we can customize based on our requirement. But we need reference to understand the system or to understand the concept. To make it comfortable to all the vendors, SAP has given BC sets. It will display some standard values and it will give you some standard references for each module. Example, ARA. As we discussed in the last session, SAP will provide global rule set. So that rule set, SAP has, since we are working on the manufacturing domain or any sales domain or any medical device manufacturing, anything medical. These are different vendors, but SAP will deal with all the vendors and they have a domain knowledge. They provide one global rule set. Okay, as per financial laws, as per SOD rules, as per SOX law, we had a discussion and we have identified the business bills, conflicting transaction code will give you critical risks and business may lose if we assign the same transaction with one person. Like that, they will collect that information and they are given in the form of BC sets. So we will just activate the BC set and we will take the reference values. Then we customize based on our customer requirement. Any questions? The system this particular.
So by default, you see all the BC sets, right? Like manufacturing, wholesale.
No, not manufacturing. Like different modules specific. Access control specific, ARA, ARM, EAM, DRM. These module specific, they will define. They will give the standard reference values for each module.
So nothing to do with the business model then, right?
No, nothing with that.
Okay.
Okay. We'll give some time to system. Okay, in the BC set, the transaction code is SCPR20. In that particular screen, we will activate it as per the GRC. We'll activate it GRAC star and GRC star BC sets. And once we activated the BC sets in the system, and after upgrade, we don't require to activate it. This is a one-time activity configuration, even SICM services also. But we can validate. We can validate after upgrade whether the BC sets and all the values are everything activated or not. But this is one-time configuration. We cannot activate every time even upgrade or any changes in the system. We cannot do that. This is one-time configuration.
Yeah, we have to take the backup right before you do that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll do that. Okay. In the screen, the right side, the first four belongs to AR, Access Request Management, the BC sets. And the next RA, Risk Analysis Rule Set, almost 10 or 15 are there, till SRM, this belongs to ARA. And next is a role methodology that belongs to BRM, around 5. And last one is the SPM, criticality, firefighter level, firefighter, EM BC set. So in the rule set, we just require common SAP R3LG and basis. Only these three are required. In this, generally, we would require a common we must activate common, and the second one is basis, and third one is the rule set for R3. These three. If it is not S4HANA implementation, if it is normal ECC.
Grish,
if it is,
I'll send you a file with all of these which are required. I'll send you one, okay? Or for the GRC, I'll send you that, okay?
Okay. In the S4HANA, there is a old screen actually. In the S4HANA, GRC SOD rule set, SAP S4HANA, there is one rule set. We must activate for the SPIRI and S4HANA purpose. So for normal ECC system, we must activate these three BC sets for risk analysis. And rest of the other systems, that depends upon our landscape. If it is a SRM system, we will activate SRM. If it is APO, then we will activate APO. If there is a chances for non-SAP systems, JD, Oracle, PeopleSoft, then we will activate these BC sets.
So for S4HANA, in addition, I mean, this 3 plus S4HANA, one more common rule set that will
yes.
get to it. Okay.
Yes. want to show the system. Once we come to SAP app 20, then okay. If you observe, there is a S4HANA All, S4HANA Core, S4HANA Field. If it is Suit on HANA, individual versions, then you need to activate Core and Field. If it is fully S4HANA and Field, then you must activate S4HANA All. Basically, this S4HANA All is a combination of Core and Field.
So what is the best practice, Girish? What is the would do
we will activate. We will activate S4HANA. See, for ECC to S4HANA, SAP has introduced in between, there is a S4HANA Core. So Suit on HANA from S4 Core. So for that purpose, they have introduced the separate rule set. They will suggest to go with this rule set, but now latest versions, they suggested for S4HANA All. So now for any new implementations, they will activate S4HANA All. Yeah, someone is asking a question.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just asking like for S4HANA embedded system, it is only S4HANA or
anything. Yeah, S4HANA, anything for the latest version. Okay, this is a risk analysis in terms of rule set. But for normal modules like ARM, we must activate all the 4 components. And even they have now introduced simplified access request. To get this new access request form, we must activate these things. But for access request application mapping, ARM, by activating this, you will get some additional BRF plus rules like user defaults. As I tried, we discussed before, we can avoid low level and high level risks, one BRF plus function. Once you activated this, then you will get that feature, the standard BRF plus rule and user defaults. Then SLA. By you can get all the standard BRF plus rules once you activated the application mapping. I'm showing system navigation account system. Try that option. But recently we observed one of the issues. Make sure that when you are activating BC set, go to utilities, system settings. Make sure that this should be create local. Okay. The BC set, make sure that the option should select instead of create and transport or do not transport, do not create. By default, it is coming. Some of the versions, make sure that while activating the BC set, you can check these settings or what settings it was selected. And make sure that it should be create to local. Then only the BC set should be activated properly. By default, it was there, but latest version, I'll give one more example as well. There is an embedded system, the same system where S4HANA Core, S4HANA 2020 Theory or S4HANA 1909 Theory and GRC system. If you installed everything in the same box. Make sure that before activating the BC set, some of the BC set, the property got changed to do not create. By default, it's an installation issue. But with this, what will happen? You will get only some of the features, standard values in the system, but rest of the values, you lost it, then you have to manually create it or you need to reach out to SAP. But the root cause of the issue is, it was by default it was selected, do not create option. But it must be create local option to be selected. So make sure that since now onwards you will work on new environments, greenfield implementation or upgrade or anything, whatever maybe you will get a chance. But make sure that before, not upgrade, not required, but mainly on greenfield implementation or in the upgrades S4HANA BC set, you need to activate. Since it is a new requirement, it was not activated before. So you can activate you can check the configuration, create local. It should be there.
So if you use this option, right, Girish, it won't go ask for the transport. Is that right?
No, it will ask. But
it will ask. Okay.
See, if this activated, okay, might be the properties, 10 properties by activating this BC set, okay? If it is not properly set up, might be it was a do not create. Only 5 standard properties will activated and 5 properties are not existing in the GRC system. So you will lose the 5 components. So there is a chance. I'll give you one more example. Today we'll come to GRC BC set.
Okay.
But make sure that before activating this BC set, it should be local. Once we click on the
Girish, I have a question. How did you find that out, that you have to go set it? I mean, earlier on, we never used to check that. But you got an error or something? Oh, okay.
There is a GRC BC set. The standard workflow objects were not populated. Okay. Then we compared with the existing BC sets. One of my friend was working. So I asked him to compare what is the configuration setup for each object. Then we have identified MSNP configuration was, it's a create, instead of create local, it was create object. That BC set was selected and by default he was activated and he got that error. He lost the complete objects.
Okay.
So once this is the activation button. Once we click on the activation, it will trigger the transport request. But so it's a overwrite all the data. But always all the BC sets must be activated in the expert mode. In this access control related BC set, some of the objects you will get ended with error. Ended with warnings. Warnings are acceptable and some of them are activated. If you are not activated in the expert mode, definitely you will get error. This issue also starting from GRC 10. Then later SAP find and recommended use expert mode to activate the BC set. So right now I'm not activating. Once we activate it, we can check the activation log. It should reflect the control details in the left. What dates it was activated. date it was activated?
Is it SLG on screen, Girish? It's
No, this is only for this particular screen.
okay.
It should display the previous. We'll see. System is very slow today. What's it? I want to show you something. Okay, but this is it. You need to activate in the expert mode. So this is the expert mode. You must activate in the expert mode.
So, Girish, in the embedded system, we need to, for S/4HANA, we need common one, then Basil one, then R3 one, and then the S4 and Fiori both. Correct? 4 of those.
Yes.
So one more question, Girish, here, override data.
Yeah.
So for the fresh implementation, you select
No, anything. The default option is overwrite all the data.
Okay.
Probably I will show in the next session the details, okay? The complete details.
Sure, Girish. Yeah, thank you.
Manpreet, you can stop recording. We'll start the question and answer session.
Yeah, Girish, I have one question.
Just give me 1 minute. 1 minute, please.
Yeah, sure. Let's say we have not selected the create local option while activating BC sets and we lost some of the features. So when we identified if in the middle of when we encounter that error, at that time can't we again activate the BC set with the create local option?
We can do that option, but we tried that option, but however the results it was not reflected. I think first time we can, before activated, we can check that. If not, then there is a 2 possible options as of now. Even SAP might be trying to working on the same issue probably. If S/4HANA, Fiori, and GRC are installed on the same system, probably they are facing this issue, and we don't have a choice. We need to reinstall, or we need to, SAP will release the correction node. We tried that option multiple times. We activated the BC set. But one luck thing is that is related to workflow. So we will be able to correct it. But whereas the BC sets belongs to application mapping or some other things, it may give a different error. As of now, we have observed only workflow related issue, GRC workflow. Yeah. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. This BC set, GRC underscore MSMP underscore configuration. This is related to workflow. So this BC set, once we activated this BC set, all the 7 stages of workflow, the default objects would come. Also, parallelly, there is a workflow parallel settings that should exist in a particular screen. That we will discuss on the next session. That particular screen, that complete 7 or 8 event linkages should come by default after activated this BC set. but that was not that complete screen got disappear for access control objects. So since we have a handover system like a handy system and a practice system or any other system, we just enter the class and the event method and all the details. Once we executed and it was automatically getting saved, then we just activate it. So there is an alternate solution, but it may cause issue.
So what you are saying is that when you went to the MSMP configuration, you found that this was missing. The 7 steps were missing, correct? That's why you came back.
Not
in 3.
No. 7 steps, and along with that, system is.
I know what you're talking about. In the SPRO, that maintain configuration, right?
Not maintain configuration. 1 minute. I'll show. There is activate event linkages and the particular screen. Find this option. So this is completely out of this, which will reach probably next after 2 sessions might be, but since okay.
So where are you going?
Workflow activate event linkages.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So we are not relevant to this object classes.
Okay.
So once we activated that BC set, so there is a ABAP class, and even ABAP class, there are some, if you observe, related to access control, access request, access review, and mitigation control, mitigation. All these objects are not activated. This should come by default actually. So once the BOR object type, then everything should empty. Because of that, BC set was not activated properly, and it was saved instead of local. It was saved to create the objects. So this complete data was missing. Then what we did was, we have selected, get the double click. So we have entered this particular function module. So here there is a two actions probably, events, cancel and approve, or review probably. Only 2 or 3 function modules. So we selected this ABAP class and we updated the function module. Like just click on the new entry here. We enter ABAP class and we just required a function module name and event linkage click and event, either a cancel or approve. Like that we did, and we just hit the save. So it is getting added. Like this, we have added all the 10 or 12 access control related information. The same error I have observed almost 3 implementations. 3 implementation does S4 theory and GRC on the same box. But I'm not sure like if it is a central hub model or GRC would be the separate installation. But everything is one system, then this issue was occurred. So for BC set perspective, we have 2 activities. One is GRAC star and GRC star. So these 2. So that particular screen, the complete details got wiped out. So to troubleshoot this issue, if you are not knowing this BC set or BC set information, you cannot understand the system because you need to activate the event linkages, or you cannot do this configuration. Basis team or someone does. So if we are not activated this particular screen, and in the next class we will discuss, but if we cannot activate this mapping, so event linkages and we'll do the owner mapping, what will happen in the actual system? The workflow request got submitted, the notification will go to approver, but the particular request will not appear in the working box because it was not mapped. Either it was not, the request got submitted, either it will not go to owners because we need to check not only this configuration, we have to check all the tasks. That is a next class actually. We need to check the task configuration and event linkage configuration.
So Grish,
either it will not hit the manager, or once it will trigger, the request will not exist in the working box because we have not mapped this configuration. Owner mapping was not done, event linkage.
Grish, do you have a screenshot of the error from the 3 times which you're talking about? Maybe you can put it in the slide.
So that is customer slide, so system information.
Oh, you can just copy this thing. You can,
probably. I'll try.
Yeah, that will be neat so that we would know. Actually, that's a very good thing you just told me.
Yeah, that is a one error, and there are a lot of surprises in that particular system.
Right. So whatever you can think about it, you can, or you can simulate that and put it in there, something like that.
Mm-hmm. So make sure that once the workflow configuration, GRSC, MSMP, this is activated, so you can validate. Go to MSMP. You can check all the 7 stages, the default objects are existing. And this particular screen, you can check event linkages are existing for the access control as a validation. Because, see, the system was handover and we are not sure about the one-time configuration. Just now we discussed all these activities. So you cannot troubleshoot. You don't know where you have to start and what is the exact issue. Because everything is active, you cannot check. But workflow, request got submitted and everything, notification go to approver, but working box, the request won't be there. Because access control approver, this was not mapped to owner. This event linkages was not activated. First of all, it will not trigger to owner. If this is activated, then the owner mapping, the next set of action, owner should be mapped. So that was not done. So overflow, there is a chances of majority of issues. The task settings are post-installation steps. So we must do the pre-validation, and when we are going for the troubleshooting, we'll start with these activities. So that, okay, all these configurations are active. Probably there might be a chance. Like we'll do trial and error. Okay, there is a possibility of activities. Okay, it's not. Then SOST, mail. Then if not, then probably there is a delegation. The sequence of steps we will go. First we will check the system, starting points. Once it is okay, then we'll go for approval level. Then we'll go for GRC system. GRC front-end system. Is there any delegation or anything or notification system? Then we'll reach out to basis. Probably that is a support pack issue, or we'll submit the incident to SAP. Like levels of issue, we can split the issue for troubleshooting. Then we will identify. We are doing multiple ways. We'll go with the starting. We'll go step by step for troubleshooting. To do troubleshooting, you must understand the basic one-time configuration, whatever the post configuration. They will simply, SAP will give answer, please perform properly post-installation activities. Apart from that, you won't get any answer. So again, SAP also suggested for revalidate all these activities. So make sure that you can practice parallelly, you will understand and you will get a lot of errors while activating this.
So, Chris, when we activate BC set, then this event type linkage automatically get activated, right?
No, it will display. It will display. We need to go one by one, but this complete data was not displayed because of that BC set was not properly activated. So this is a standard feature which was given by SAP, was completely disappeared.
Okay. I got it. Okay. I mean, there are some tick mark and some services not having that tick mark. Okay, they are in this system. So
no, I have not activated actually. I was waited for this. Since this is for class, actually, I was just activated. I just gone through something, whether it is working or not. Later I did. And since, see, for your, generally you took the system from different vendors, right? They're basically changing every 15 days or 20 days. So make sure that once you get the error, don't panic in the local system. Because in the customer system, once you configure, the configuration will never change. But these systems, what they will do, they will refresh every 15 days, 10 days, a week or a month, probably. So some of the configuration will fail, but it is good. You can, as much as you can practice and you can configure parallelly. Once the issues, errors are coming, then probably you can understand the system better.
yeah.
So Girish, all these configurations are not client specific, right?
These configurations? Yeah, it's a client specific. No, it's a client specific.
Okay. And the SICA, BC set activation, all that?
Yeah, yes.
Or client specific?
Yes.
Okay.
We will log in to this particular client and will perform the activities.
Okay. Like only the installation is not client specific and other configurations are client specific post installation.
Yes. We'll get one or two configurations. Don't remember. It will trigger to see the application mapping. If you are not application mappings, even though you activated the application mappings are not visible, then you need to import from 000 or 001 client to your local client. That will trigger the working box request. I don't remember that issue, but we discussed, right, one of the BC set, the application mapping. There are some different levels. Some of the developers functions. Mitigation policy, multiple rule set. If you have a multiple rule set, you want to compatible to your GRC request. So, two rule set. You want to perform the risk analysis. Then we will use this function. You observe the mitigation, the GRC request low level risk I think this one, I'm not sure, I don't remember right now. But there is a
So multiple rule set that allow us like to select which rule set we should perform the SOD computes, or it will.
Yeah, it will select both.
Both
to,
okay.
to run by using this.
Okay.
So these are the application mappings. Why you would require application mapping is it is too early, but as per workflow configuration, each process ID is one global ID. Like each process, there is only one initiator rule for each process ID. We cannot do multiple process IDs, multiple initiator rules to map each process ID. You cannot do that. That facility was earlier it was 5.3 version was there, but you cannot do in Jersey 10. But these are all called some helping hands for the initiator rules. Even though your initiator rule is one, you want to make SLA for that. You can use this BRF class. You want to map user defaults, that particular request. You can map the process ID. Which process ID you can select and you can activate. So like you can say. So these are the like initiator rule, a workflow initiator rule is like a highway. These are all called merging the highway. The small roads, it will give you the directions to reach the destination. So these are all additional flavors for the initiator rule to fulfill the complete request process. But to activate the BC set, you will get these application ID and BRF plus, and you need to select which process ID you can map. If SAP is not coming with BC set, then again you have to create your own local. You have to customize the complete configuration, and you have to perform the steps. Instead of that, SAP it's given the complete features with BC set, the standard reference values. So, any questions? So, any more questions? Are we good?
Girish, go to SCP 20.
Make sure you include those error screens.
Go to SCP, go to SCPI 20.
We done today for today then?
Okay, so if you click on the first icon, right, the lens icon, glasses icon.
This will be actually the screen was.
Okay, another BC set and show in here. Let's take S4 HANA one. That and go there. So basically, what shows you is that the data, the configuration data, after you activate this BC sets, right? What kind of data is going to come into your system? And it also shows you the table names where that data is going to reside. So for example, in here, if you see these are all functions and list within that function. Okay, in this list. So the table name is GRSE, FUNC, ACT. Okay, and that table, after you activate this data BC set, will have all these transaction codes. You have the function ID, and for each function ID, what are the transaction codes in that function ID? And if you see in the middle of that table, right, you have in the square brackets, you have FA, PP, and then you have square brackets SVC. So those two entries are related to Fury apps. Okay, so one is the Fury target mapping, the semantic object and semantic action. For example, GL account is the semantic object and manage is the semantic action. The other way of doing a risk analysis on Fury apps is using the OData services. So the one that you see in S brackets SVC, those are the OData services. Okay, so if you for each BC set, when you look at this overall view log, you'll see what data, what configuration data is going to be installed or into your system. Okay, so my advice is you take, when you activate the BC sets, come here and take a look at the overall view for some very important information.
Yeah, it will give you the complete information and what logical system will come to know by activating this BC set. This is the connector group, logical system name.
So connector groups are already defined in the system?
Yeah, default connector groups. By activating the BC set, it will display the connector groups.
Right.
You can use the SAP standard or you can create our own custom groups.
You use the BC sets to bring basic configuration into the system. After that,
no, so the question was like, see, we were not there yet, right? We are not creating the connector groups, but this is the first step we are doing, right? So prior to that, so should we create the logical groups first?
No.
Connector groups first?
No. The first step, right? Let's review. First step, basis installs the components, right? The add-on components and the plugin component. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Second step, then you have to come, or somebody has to go and activate the BC sets.
Right.
Because you need the basic configuration that you need in the system. So the basic configuration, the SAP default values, they come into the system upon activation of the BC sets, right? And after that, depending on your requirement, you configure the GRC environment.
So I go back and change my group, connector group over here, to the rule set?
No, not here. You have to go and do it Pro. You create your own.
Pro. You have a facility in the Pro. It will reflect in the Pro. That particular screen we will discuss more details.
Okay.
What it was and why it was and what will happen if not we will use the standard and what is the use of standard.
Okay.
See, there are few pre-installation and post-installation steps, okay? You have seen two today. One, this BC set activation. Second, the SICF services activation. And the SICF activations, right? What all the SICF services that need to be activated, you will find it in the installation guide also, the administration guide also. Okay. And the third that we saw was, that activation of the access control components, the process control, risk management, access control, those three entries, depending on what you are implementing, you activate that component. So if you, for example, if you're not implementing risk management, right? You don't need to activate a risk management component in that step, in the Pro configuration. Okay. There are a couple of more steps as post installation that Girish has to cover, which we can do next week. One activation of actually three. One he already showed you today, that activate the linkages, right? That he was talking about. So the transaction code for that is SWE2. Okay.
That will go details.
Okay, we'll go through the details. And my comment on that one is, when we upgraded from 10.1 to 12 in Honda. Okay, so when we upgraded it, one of the post-upgrade activity validations that we did was SWE2, what Girish was showing. And many of those entries were deactivated. So whenever you upgrade the system or you apply a support pack, you're going from support pack 8 to 14 or 16 or whatever, right? It is always a good idea to do these validations. Okay. So SWE2 is one validation. You have to make sure all those GRAC related entries are activated. Another thing that you need to validate, and Girish will show you next week, is activating the workflows, right? There is a basic standard step, not actually related to GRC, but within SAP system. If you want to use workflows, normally also you will have to go through SWU3 transaction and activate some nodes there. So you will have to validate that one also. So Girish probably will show you that next week. Okay. And the third one, as a post-installation activity for GRC, going through, and this is a little bit of time-consuming activity. Okay, this one, the tasks within this PFTC transaction code. So you go to PFTC transaction code, and there are certain two categories of tasks that you need to activate. One is standard tasks, the other is workflow tasks. So these are the three key steps that are still remaining from post-installation standpoint. And once you do these 5-6 activities, right, the ones that you saw today, and the remaining 3 that you're going to see next week, that will cover your basic, that will cover basically make your system ready for GRC. Okay. After that, your requirement-based configurations will come. Understood?
Yeah, got it.
So BC sets, keep in mind, BC sets are basically, they bring in some basic configuration that you need into your system. Standard config, standard values, to give you a base. Based on that, you configure your system. And another point for BC sets, right? So like Girish was saying, there are about 300 mandatory BC sets that you need to activate. And if you really look at that list, right, you will have some BC sets specific to, you will have some BC sets specific to EAM. Okay, then you have specific BC sets related to BRM. And there is one workflow BC set related to MSMP workflow. You will have to activate all of these. Okay.
It has to be in the sequence, Subha, or it's
no, they're not sequential. You can do any sequence you want.
Okay.
But the 3 BC sets that Girish was mentioning, those are mandatory ones. no matter.
But ARA, only the optional is ARA.
Okay. And then, if you see the screenshots, right, you have APO, you have HR. So for example, if you're implementing SAP HR, right, or if you, for that matter, if you're implementing, let's say, success factors also for, I'm just saying, right? You probably will use certain, HR related, rule sets for risk management, risk analysis. Okay. And if you're using PeopleSoft, then there is a PeopleSoft related BC set for risk analysis. Then you have CRM related one. So based on what systems you have, you can activate these BC sets. If you don't have HR, you don't need to activate HR. Okay, if you don't have SRM, don't activate SRM. But other than this system specific BC sets, remaining BC sets you will have to activate.
So Subhash, for example, right, take, so let's say I have CRM system, then I should activate CRM, right?
Correct. If CRM is in scope for risk analysis, and it will be.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's say I have CRM system, but we don't care about, because there is no financial transactions, so I just don't activate, right?
No, it's not. See, risk analysis is not only for financial reasons, right? It could be some activity reasons also. Right? So you will have to activate. No, I won't say you will have to. I would say for proper, risk analysis scenarios, you should activate CRM also, CRM basis set also. Now there's one more point here, okay? There's the BRM related ones. If you look at some of the screen, right? You have role methodology, role management related BC sets. Okay? You need to activate these anyways, even if you don't implement the BRM module completely. Because for ARM, you need to upload the roles into the, into GRC for provisioning purposes to get basic role management related configuration, right? And the role sensitivity or role type kind of configuration into your system, you need to activate these BRM related BC sets also. Doesn't mean that you have to implement BRM completely. Understood?
Okay. Yeah. So if you go to the drop down, right, for the basis sets, so these are the only basis sets available in the system, the one you in the screen.
No, probably there are few.
No, this is a old screen.
Old screenshot, because there are multiple are there, so I don't want to. I was not compatible to maintain. So, but mandatory everything.
These BC sets you will find it in the latest version also, okay? But in the latest GRC 12 version, you may find a couple of, one or two more BC sets.
Simplified access request and S4HANA core. Only few are there. In terms of ARA, in terms of ARM.
Okay, one more point I wanted to make as a comment is that when it comes to S4HANA and Fury, right, you saw there are, if you go to the screen, that SAP screen, you will see there are 3 separate BC sets for S4HANA. Right? SAP basically recommends you to activate only this one, all.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is this, right? S4HANA all contains the data from S4HANA and Fury combined. Understood what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So SAP recommends that you just have to activate this S4HANA all. That's the only thing you need to do. You don't need to use the other two.
Okay, and Subha, so for the, if let us say you want to build process control, we have separate set of BC sets.
Yes, so if you go, see, this is GRAC, right? So if you
Right.
GRPC, for example, you'll get process control related BC sets.
Okay.
Girish, can you search for GRPC?
Yeah, SPC.
SPC.
Oh, it's SPC.
No, roles are SPC, sorry, GRPC.
Yes, GRPC.
GRPC.
Yeah. Roles are SPC roles, but the BC sets are. But for process control related, some of the BC sets you need to activate twice. That process control guide will let you know.
Okay.
One time it cannot activate, but twice you need to activate. Some of the values. They will clearly mention what is that.
So, Girish, why are we digressing from GRC to PC? That should be later on.
We are not digressing.
Yeah.
We are not digressing. So similarly, if you select GRC, what is that? GRRM. Search for GRRM, Girish.
Yes, sir. It's for risk management.
You have for risk management. Okay. And my advice to you is, go and look at that overall view for each BC set. It will show you the table. Main thing is it shows you the table name where the data is going to sit. So tomorrow, when you create your own function IDs, right? So key function IDs and put transaction codes in it. This will give you the table names you will know from here. You create something where which table that data that you're creating is going to get saved. So that information you get from here, the base information. Okay.
So let's say, for example, customer says HR system is not in our scope, so we are not activating BC sets. But later, if they decide to add that, we can again activate that HR BC set, right?
Yes. See, the thing is, you can activate the BC sets multiple times if you want to.
Yeah, the same BC set also you can activate multiple times.
But remember, I don't know, I've never tried this. But let's say it's like SU24, right? If in SU24, when you go to SU25 step 1, for example, right? If you go to SU25, what is the first step? It populates the USOBT and USOBX data into USOBT underscore C and USOBX underscore C tables, right? You do that, and after that you make changes to SU24. You create your own objects, authorization objects tied to transaction codes, and you do 10 other things in SU24. And then when you come back and do that SU25 first step, whatever changes you have made, they'll get overwritten. You lose them. So I don't know if once you make your changes, right, you activate and then you go and create your own function IDs and risk IDs and whatnot, and then you come back and activate this BC set again. I don't know what happens. Okay, I've never tried that scenario. You followed what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know. So, but technically you can activate this any number of times.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yeah, I'm telling you again, okay, go and look at that overall view for each PC set. Make a note of all the transaction codes that you see and try to read, understand what you're seeing on the screen, what configuration data you see on the screen. Try to understand that. And noting the tables is important, I would say.
Subha, is there any dump something like that, like, on this, like busy set versus table, any matrix?
No, I don't have any.
Okay. And one more thing, Subha. This is regarding the recording session, right? That you sent last week's one. I see a lot of discrepancies, Subha. So